a few minutes late, but ready to get started here. Thank everyone for joining us for the Community Safety and Wellbeing launch announcement. Before we get started, I just want to recognize that we're on Treaty 5 territory, the traditional territory of the Nishnawbe Cree Nation and the homeland of the Métis people. First off, we have the honor of having in our presence the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of Manitoba, Honorable Cameron Friesen. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that battery is working in the microphone now. Very good. Thanks, Anthony, for the introduction. My name is Cameron Friesen. I'm the Minister of Justice and Attorney General for the province of Manitoba. And we have a full room, and we have so many guests joining us today. So allow me to take a moment and just recognize people in the room. Apologies, I know I will miss people. But first of all, my friend and colleague, the Minister of Families, Minister Rochelle Squires. Wave to us, Minister. The Minister and her deputy, Heidi, is here somewhere. Warman, there she is on the side of the room. And they and yet their assistant Kylie have had a number of meetings the last 2 days. I know they've been going strong for 2 days. Excellent meetings for you folks. Excellent meetings for us and my senior leaders as well. Colleen Smook needs no announcement around here or introduction. The Mayor of Thompson. I know you all know Colleen, but I have to tell one funny story. So Colleen's great, and we look around, we get to the airport, and here's Colleen. She's driven all the way out to the airport, meets us there, just says hello, see you back in town. No sooner do we get to town for our meeting, but Colleen's walking into her city hall, and she has 2 big jugs of Tim Hortons coffee. So not only was I really looking forward to see the mayor, but when she's holding coffee, that's fantastic. Although she did explain that Tim Hortons actually ran out of coffee, which never happens. So that was quite an interesting day we had. We managed to get some coffee. Dee Shaboyer, thanks for hosting us here, the Executive Director for Mama We Talks Convention Center. Dee, where'd you go? There you are. Chris Hasty, the tall gentleman over there, is of course the Manitoba North District Commander, RCMP. Sonia Wiseman is here somewhere as well, Acting Public Safety Manager, City of Thompson. Or I think Sonia said maybe she couldn't join us at this event. So you know who she is, but we just saw her moments ago, and she had joined us at a tour of the intended site for the new Thompson Sobering Center, which is just excellent. I also do want to spend a moment here to pause and introduce my officials who have joined me in the City of Thompson for the meetings the last 2 days. So Dave Wright is the Deputy Minister of Justice in the back of the room. Next to him is Mike Kopang, or who we like to call the new guy. He's the Assistant Deputy Minister of Public Safety Division. Next to 2 over from him, Jeremy Akerstream is the Assistant Deputy Attorney General. Assistant Deputy Attorney General. Crown Law Division. And then in between he and Mike, that's Owen Ferguson, Executive Director, Public Safety Division. And I also have with me in the front of the room Ron Johansson, Chief of Staff in my office. I'll keep my remarks short. I'm so pleased to be here in Thompson. We've had a few days that we've been able to tour the courts. We've been able to meet with the mayor and deputy mayor councilors, city manager, and just have a really good interface with them on a variety of issues. We've been able to see the tremendous work, though, that's been done in the courts here in Thompson. Modernizing the courts, responding to COVID, but more than that, trying to address issues of access to justice. We have exciting things on the way in Thompson for the reconfiguration of the provincial building that at another time and another visit I'll be happy to tell you more about. But it's going to help people navigate the system in more appropriate and effective ways. We were able to meet with sheriffs and see the very good work that our sheriffs do in and around this area, not just in Thompson, but in the many communities that surround it. And of course we know Thompson is a hub that serves far more than just this local area. I've been able to meet with incredible people, meet with your incredible leaders who are doing wonderful things in this community. Yesterday afternoon, the minister and I had a chance to walk with Grand Chief Garrison Setti and the mayor in the MMIWG walk, and we heard some very moving speeches that followed. Our government is committed to investing in communities, including Thompson. We're investing in safety, we are investing in well-being and wellness, and we are committing to having communities partner with us. We're committed to the idea of communities being in the loop and leading and developing the strategies that work best for them to solve the challenges that are around them. We believe in that principle of subsidiarity. It means community consultations, it means community-led partnerships. It was in March of last year that my predecessor on this file, Minister Cliff Cullen, announced support for a community-led strategy for Thompson. And so today we are so pleased to be able to be here and announce an update on this strategy. I should also say at the same time, I believe it was the Minister Cullen's predecessor, Heather Stephenson, who had first got that ball rolling in justice and talked about the need for this type of approach. To build a safer, stronger, and more resilient community, you have to rely on partnerships and those who live and work here. Thompson, you've done this. And today, the Community Wellness and Safety Plan is launching. Our government supports communities who have real significant safety issues. This was showcased earlier this year when our government funded community mobilization hubs like the one we have in Thompson, additionally for Altona, for Swan River, and for Winkler. So these hubs are connecting social services and community agencies with at-risk youth and families. They're ensuring that they have appropriate supports and interventions. Manitoba's approach to community mobilization recognizes that communities are unique, they have strengths, they have challenges, they have experiences, they have important voices that need to be heard. In some communities, evaluations of these investments have showed that for every $1 invested, there's a $5 social return, like Thundering in North End Winnipeg, and decreased reoffending by 50% for justice-involved youth with low cognitive functioning, like our START models in Selkirk, Steinbach, Stonewall, Dauphin, and Gimli. Today's announcement, I think, means that for the community of Thompson, including the Mama Friendship Center, the RCMP, and the City of Thompson, along with 24 other agencies, many of which you represent in this room, you've come together to create the best path forward for this community. Today's announcement builds on our government's commitment to Manitoba's policing and public safety strategy, announced in 2019, which identified a priority initiative to collaborate with the RCMP, Thompson, and other stakeholders to develop the public safety strategy for this city. Today, we get to celebrate this jumping off point. So before I turn it back to Anthony, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the community. Thank you for your hospitality these last few days. Thank you to Mama Friendship Center, the RCMP, and to all of the agencies and organizations and groups that have partnered behind the scenes, quietly but effectively engaging, talking, sharing, and getting us to this launching point of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Project in Thompson. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Minister, for those words. Next, I'll call on Her Worship Colleen Smoot to provide some words on behalf of the City of Thompson.
Thank you, Anthony. You don't know how long I've waited for this day. Every time I say, when are we launching, when are we launching, it always seems a couple months away. Well, a couple months away, it's finally here. And it's thanks to absolutely everybody in this room. Couldn't have done it without you. Specifically, I can remember Anthony and I meeting at the PRCC in the community room for just before we were ready to launch, and people, Cal Corley came up, was coming up, and they'd had a meeting before, and there was about 7 or 8 people, and I can remember that day Anthony and I looking at each other and saying, we gotta have 15 people in the room. We need to have 15 people. Well, lo and behold, within 10 minutes, him and I are putting out chairs because we had 30-some people in the room. It was absolutely fantastic. And today is a result of that. And I know that sometimes it seems it has taken forever, but one of the things is we have done it right. We have gone right through the whole process. We know everything that could go wrong. We know everything that is going to be needed from our community. And again, it's community. This is not city-driven. That is even one of the reasons that myself as mayor and my fellow councillors, deputy mayor, we have not even been in on the meetings. This was so that the community could do it without having it perceived as, oh yeah, the city's doing something again, it's likely not going to work. Well, it worked, whether we were at the table or not, but we were here to support you in the matter. So, with that being said, I can't just say enough good things about how the province has supported us through all of this. You know, they even, you know, paid for our study. They were, you know, and some of that money I think came in the back door, so sorry if other communities didn't get what we did, but we appreciate it, and we're going to show you we did good. And I always tell the province, if you give us that little extra and it doesn't work out, just blame that, you know, pardon me, bitch Mayor Thompson, you know, because we had to shut her up. So we take it however we can, and we so appreciate it. But with that being said, I think this is just the start. Great things. We have just toured our new sobering center to be. When I'm asked, when is it going to be open? Well, I would have liked it open yesterday. And like I told Anthony, you know, we don't worry, December's just a month or two away. We'll get something on the ground by then. And but the long-term goals and the long-term plans, it's so important that we do it right, so that we can prove to the community that we know what we're doing. And we're doing that with partners, we're doing that with the expertise. So with that being said, community and safety well-being strategy that I've talked about for years, it seems like, it's here, it's happening. So now I'm going to go brag to the world, and I'll be pushing from behind the scenes to make sure we get the next steps. We'll be working with the province, we'll be working with the federal government, we'll be working with all of you to make sure that everybody gets the funding and the help that they need to make this go forward. And it's not always all about the dollars. If we don't get our community and the bodies on board, it doesn't work. I've actually already got projects for member groups in the community when it comes to what they can do without costing us a lot of dollars. So again, I would like to thank my city council on their following our vision and our site. And our visions haven't stopped here. Like, this is just, there's 3 big buildings over there to fill, folks. So this is just the start of great things that are happening. And I would like to thank you. Thank you, Mr. Friesen. Thank you, Mr. Squires. I'd like to thank Gary Annette, General Manager, Valet Operations, for being here today. It just shows when our biggest employer is in the room that we are doing something right, and we couldn't do it without their support also. A lot of the other entities in the room, thank you, thank you. Deisha Boyer, she's been our hidden gem in Thompson for, like I say, forever, you know, and she has so many more initiatives, like you guys haven't even seen half of it with your tour here. So we're going to keep you invested, we're going to keep you up to date on things, and Chris Hasty, he's been at our table, he's listened to me rant and rave over the years, but thank you, Chris, for putting up with me, even though I hear you might be leaving, you know. So Jenny will be putting up with us for the next couple of years now. So I'd like to acknowledge, you know, I always forget this one person in the room, and it's our old mayor. He doesn't like to be called our old mayor because he is likely 20 years younger than me, but our former mayor, Tim Johnson, he actually had this all started before he came. So we're basically fulfilling some of his dreams, and you know, we get to have the limelight, but he definitely, and he works very hard for this community from the economic development standpoint. And by community, I mean, you're not just dealing with 13,678 actual people in Thompson. You're dealing with our northern community of 55,000 plus. And for that, we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. Next up, we'll be calling on Deisha Boyer. Dee is the co-chair and representing the Community Advisory and Committee, and the Advisory Committee bringing greetings on their behalf.
We think he's worked with me long enough that he would know it's not just greetings. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nisha Boyer. I'm the Executive Director of the Untitled Friendship Center. I'm also the co-chair of the Community Wellness and Public Safety Advisory Committee that nobody ever gets the name right. So we are shortening it. So on behalf of the Community Wellness Public Safety Advisory Committee, I want to welcome Minister Friesen, Minister Squires, and all our out-of-town guests to our community. So I want to start by giving a little brief overview of how we got to where we are today. Mayor Smook touched on it a little bit. It was a meeting that was held in January of 2020 at the TRCC. And the meeting was to engage multiple stakeholders in the community. Representatives from the city, government departments, law enforcement, emergency services, community-based organizations and agencies, addictions, health and mental health services, and school divisions. The goal was to create a multi-sector steering body. So the steering body would be responsible to identify, oversee, champion, and report on community safety and well-being priorities in our city. It was also to develop a community safety and well-being framework. The committee is made up of senior level managers from approximately 30 organizations, agencies, businesses, property owners, and government representatives. The makeup of the advisory committee was done strategically, and it was done on purpose. It was to ensure that community members or committee members had the authority to make decisions and commitments without having to seek approval elsewhere, making for rapid response. With financial assistance from the province of Manitoba, the Justice Department, the City of Thompson was able to engage the services of the Community Safety Knowledge Alliance, which we call CSKA, to help guide us through the complexities of developing a community safety and well-being plan. We might be experts in our fields, but we're definitely not experts in the development of a plan that affects our entire community. The development of the plan took a large amount of work and careful planning to ensure it was realistic and achievable, that it didn't sit on a shelf and get dusted off 10 years later. There are weekly meetings between the co-chairs and CSKA, several advisory committee meetings, presentations to mayor and council, to ensure that they were kept up to date on the progress of plan development, multiple community consultations held throughout the city, and a community survey where over 2,300 people provided input and feedback. I should note that's never really been done in our community, where 17% of our population answered the survey. With the absence of funding for support staff, this was no small feat, especially considering the amount of coordination and time commitment from many individuals who gave a large part of their professional and personal time by working off the sides of their desks to help make this plan a reality. From the planning phase to the implementation phase, the advisory committee proved time and time again that they had a strong commitment to finalizing plan development and an even stronger commitment moving forward to ensuring that the plan was implemented. Enter COVID. We now had to learn how to effectively meet and engage with everyone so that the development of the plan didn't stall or get put on hold, because that would have just pushed Mayor Smoot right over the edge. Despite some delays and bumps in the road, it remained evident that everyone involved in the process was committed and able to adjust in order to continue moving forward. We were all on the same page, all had the same vision, and that was the drive that kept us going. After 18 months of hard work, dedication, commitment from the advisory committee, and the input from community members, I'm happy to report that the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan is now complete and ready to launch into our community. Thompson didn't become this way overnight, and it's not going to change overnight. It'll take careful coordination, a tremendous amount of commitment and time. It will be no small feat, but with committed leadership, a well-informed plan now to guide us, and the support of Mayor and Council, we will make a difference. I've had the pleasure to work with a great group of people, who stayed focused on the priority goal, which was to develop a community safety and well-being plan. A plan that not only identifies issues and challenges in our community, but it also provides a course of action to achieve community safety and well-being that will help our community become a safe place to live, work, play, and invest. On behalf of the Community Wellness and Public Safety Advisory Committee, I'd like to thank the Province of Manitoba Department of Justice for their financial contribution towards the retention of the Community Safety Knowledge Alliance, Mayor Smook and City Councillors for their endorsement and commitment to assisting and supporting the Advisory Committee with the implementation of the plan, Mr. Cal Corley and Dr. Janusz Bachner from CSKA for their never-ending knowledge, guidance, and patience, and I'd also like to thank the entire Advisory Committee for the time and effort you put into making this plan a reality. Very much.
Thank you, Dee. And I think that wraps up all of our speakers. I believe it's now open to any questions from the media. We have a microphone. We'll bring it back.
Any questions, folks?
Yes, I have a question. I guess, where can people see the plan or strategy?
As soon as this meeting is over, the strategy will be going up on the City of Thompson website. There's a specifically designed website for this whole plan. So there'll be a PDF copy there to download, as well as information about the strategy.
And how are you going to measure the effectiveness and success of the plan over time as it's implemented?
All the details on the measurement are actually included in the plan. So there's measurables as well as timelines for deliverables. And the next step that the advisory groups will be putting together is implementation plans for each one of the strategies.
And just lastly, I guess, is the plan sort of going to be something that evolves as you get more input and see what works and what doesn't, or what needs tweaking?
That is exactly how the plan is devised, so that it grows over time. As the advisory changes and the conditions change within the community, it's continuously updated.
Hello, this is Anne from CHPM. I was wondering in regards to the implementation of the plan, when will it start specifically? When can we start seeing these changes that are outlined in the plan specifically?
A number of them are actually already underway, so as they're being developed by this advisory, that information was brought back through myself and the staff to the mayor and council, and they already started budgeting for a number of those issues. So some of the implementation is actually underway, and the other ones are to come, and they're outlined as well as in the plan, so that you can see which ones are the next 3 to 6 months, as well as up to 5 years.
And the budget numbers are included in the plan, correct?
Partial budget numbers are included in the plan. Other ones have to be determined by the community. So to what extent they want to go, that'll be determined by the advisory committee.
Will that involve further public feedback to inform those future budget times, or is that just specifically within the advisory committee?
No, the advisory committee, after today's launch, is planning to have special sessions for the community. So open houses for the ones that have previously attended, as well as other events so that the community can come and interact with the advisory committee and ask any questions they have, provide any input, and get involved.
I'm good, thank you.
I just want to add that we did have a discussion in the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan will be launched formally into the community. We'll be holding a day event and an evening event. I'm hoping prior to the end of October, but that's where people will have the community plan available for the community and be able to answer any of their questions as well. Does anybody else have any questions for Anthony?
Yeah.
And were there any questions for Dee, the minister, or the mayor? Or, okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. Very exciting day. We hope to see everyone get involved with this plan and making it a major success within our community. And feel free to partake. I believe there's bannock and coffee over at the side, and mingle amongst yourselves. Thank you.
You're not getting away that fast. There's one more thing I want. I just spoke to Colleen about this. I would love to get a group shot of everyone who's had standing on the committee work. All these different agencies, you represent a lot of these, from the mayor and Chris and the RCMP, city manager, and we'll get all of us together. We'll use this big camera up there, hold it up really high, and take an aerial shot. Let's do it. Come and meet us at the front. Big aerial shot. Look, the smallest person. But you know what I said? Let me see that. Let's do it. And we're wearing masks when you're on the party. Wear your mask.
That's a problem.
Sorry, why are you back there? That's the shortest
We did, but we only
I like it.
it's all depends on who's the group here. So okay, we're okay.
Everyone smile with their eyes. I can tell if you're not smiling. Awesome, that's great.
And there. Got it all? Really nice. Awesome. Thanks everyone. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
So on the third time you come back, what are you going to do?
Excellent. Good to get to this stage. Now the work is done. But it'll be the good work now.
When I get my pay up tomorrow, because I'm going to pick my job. She's 2 months old. That's why I'm coming to stay. She's not doing that anymore. It's very hard. That was she's bringing them into our business.
Hey Dennis, good you? Thank you.